my friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are talking about some food swaps. So a question I get asked all the time is, how did you start switching over to more whole foods based than, convenience foods? And basically, I did it little by little, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. Some easy, simple swaps that you can make to just make better choices. Now, let me start out by saying 3 things. Number 1, I am not perfect. Not by any means. Our diet is not perfect. We just try to do the best we can with what we have. Number 2, I'm not a doctor. I am just a girl who's trying to be a little bit healthier with my food choices. I've done research. Now, you can do research and you can find pros and cons for every single thing you research, depending on where you look. You can probably find something that says the sky is green, and you can find something that says the sky is blue. There's always 2 sides to the story. You just have to do your research and figure out which side makes more sense to you, which sources that you trust. And number 3, I am not a nutritionist or a dietitian. Like I said, refer back to number 2. So there are like my 3 little disclaimers when it comes to this. I could talk for half an hour on why we made this decision to change over to a more whole foods based diet, to watch ingredients more and all that. And that's a whole nother video because it would be very long. I have a very long story about that. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about just making better choices. What I feel are better choices. Once again, these are pretty much my opinions. But we do know some facts. We do know that sugar is not good for us. And the younger we start on sugar, the more addictive it can become. We know that, all these artificial dyes and things like that are not good for us. We know that. So, we try to avoid that. I mean, there are, food manufacturers who actually make 2 different products. One for Europe and one for the United States. The United States has all the crap ingredients. The European one has all the good ingredients because they ban them. They ban the bad stuff over there, but we allow it. Once again, whole nother video as to why that is. We're not getting into that. But we can be advocates for ourselves. We can make the better choices. And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm just going to pick like 7 random items. I have notes here. Just going to pick a few random items, everyday items, not crazy stuff, and just give you some better swap ideas. So for us, there are some deal breakers. If I see high fructose corn syrup in an ingredient, on an ingredient list of a food, I'm not going to buy it. I don't care what it is. That's pretty much a deal breaker for us, is high fructose corn syrup. Now, when I am out somewhere, when I am at a friend's house, when I am at a restaurant, do I probably eat some of it and not even know it? I probably do. Once again, it's my 90-10 rule. 90% good eating all the time, 10% when you just can't help it, or when you're out or whatever. Once again, not perfect. But I will not bring anything in this house that has high fructose corn syrup in it. We also try to watch hydrogenated oils, and we also try to watch artificial dyes and artificial and natural flavorings and things like that. Are we always perfect? No. But we are pretty militant about those things. And for us, seed oils are also a pretty big no-no. Seed oils are highly debated, whether they are good for you or not good for you. We try to avoid them. We notice when we do have them that we have certain types of inflammation, whether it be in our gut, whether it be in places that have arthritis in our bodies. We notice that things get a lot worse. So for us, we try to avoid them pretty much at all costs. But we know when we go out to eat, there's seed oils used. We know that. So once again, 90-10. But it's all about just making the best decisions we can for ourselves at home. Now, I will start off by saying the best thing you can do is make everything from scratch. And you know I pretty much do that. But I know that is not for everyone. I know it's not. Some people just do not like to do it. I don't like the excuse I don't have time, because we all have the same amount of hours in the day. It's just how we decide to spend them. You know, I waste time getting my nails done, and I'm not going to stop because that's what I like, and that's one thing I do for me. Other people think it's a waste of time, and that's okay. We all do what's best for us. I just feel when matters of health, I have to make the time. I have to make the time to exercise every day. I have to make the time to prepare good, wholesome food. They are my priorities. They may not be someone else's, and I get that. I get that. You just have to decide what is your priority. And if you want to start making food from scratch, then switch things up a little bit. Switch up that schedule. Get up 15 minutes earlier so maybe you can mix up a loaf of bread that you can bake when you get home from work, or something like that. Or on a Sunday, do a bunch of baking for the week. Things like that. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's not always easy. And guess what? Sometimes it doesn't happen because we're tired, and that's okay too. So yes, the best thing to do is make everything from scratch. But like I said, I'm a realist. It's not going to happen. I get that. It will not happen with everyone. And that's okay, because we can find good products at our fingertips in the grocery store, on Amazon, from, like, we use Azure Standard. It's our food co-op that we use. You can go to your local farmer. In the summer, you can go to farmers markets. There's definitely ways to do it. And like I said, right, even in your own grocery store. So the simple swaps, like I said, I have like 7 foods here that pretty much everybody uses that we can make better choices with. And the first one of the easiest ones, is peanut butter. Everybody grew up on Skippy and Jif. And I do not know, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not sure what the ingredients were when I was a kid, but it was probably just peanuts and salt. But now it's peanuts, it's salt, it's added sugar, and it's like oils, like some kind of like hydrogenated oil or palm oil or something. All this in peanut butter, when truly peanut butter only needs to be peanuts and salt. So look at your peanut butter. And let me tell you, especially if you have kids or maybe a picky husband, sometimes making these swaps, you're not going to be able to do it all at once. You might have to buy the Skippy and buy the good peanut butter and maybe start mixing them a little by little, like 3/4 of the Skippy and 1/4 of the good stuff. Then go to half and half, and then 3/4 and 1/4. You might have to do that to kind of get your family used to it. I didn't. I just went for it, and they were fine with it. They complain sometimes still about the peanut butter because of the oil that sometimes forms, but you know what? Get over it. I have older kids, so I can say that. But peanut butter is a huge one. There's just no need for sugar and oil in peanut butter. Peanuts are full of fat. You don't need to add more. So peanut butter is an easy one. Just turn that jar over and look at the ingredients. That's all you have to do. And if it has added sugars, just put it back down. Another one is mayonnaise. Once again, super easy to make your own mayonnaise, but I get it if you don't want to. Takes about probably 1 minute and 30 seconds to make a jar of mayonnaise. I even have my kids, they can do it now. I mean, yes, my kids are older, they should be able to do it, but now it's just second nature to them. Most of our mayonnaise has all kind of artificial emulsifiers in it. It has seed oils in it, things like that. Your Dukes, your Hellmann's, your brands like that, they have just not the best ingredients. So if you're going to buy a jar of mayonnaise, maybe read the back of the jar if you're trying to avoid these things, and buy something like a Primal Kitchen or a Chosen Foods. Now, I will say they are more expensive. They are more expensive than regular mayonnaise. But if you have like a Costco, oh my gosh, so affordable to buy those types of things. When Doug was going through chemo, I was not allowed to make homemade mayonnaise because he was not allowed to have raw egg. So I was buying the Chosen Foods brand, I think, and I got it at Costco, and it's actually very good, very clean ingredients, but it's just cheaper for me to make my own, and we just like it better. But definitely just, turn that jar over and look, and if it's something you feel strongly about, then make the switch. If it's not, that's okay too. Let that be your 10%. Another one is bread. Bread should have 3 ingredients, right? Or 4 ingredients: flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's what it should have. See the bread label? Yeah, this is why bread will last for months without molding. Once again, you don't have to make your own. Is it easy to make your own? It really is. And it's not time consuming. Like people, oh, I have to make bread. It's probably 10, 15 minutes hands-on throughout hours. Most of your time comes from the bread rising and then baking. It's not a lot of hands-on time, especially if you have a stand mixer, because that'll do all the kneading for you. But I get some people don't want to do it. Some people don't want to make their own bread, and that's okay too. Just look for a better choice. So put aside, that bread with all these ingredients. If you are an Aldi shopper, Aldi has a Simply Nature Grain-tastic bread, and it has a huge long list of ingredients, but they're all grains and seeds. Like that's what it is. And yeast and water. So it's a fantastic alternative to the bread with stuff you can't even pronounce. So that's another really easy swap to make, is your bread. Looking at my notes. How about some snacks? Let's say some chips. Look, you put a bag of potato chips in front of me, man, and all bets are off. I love potato chips. I do. But I don't love what they are made from. So once again, I just went on a quest to find a different brand. And I found Boulder Canyon chips. They have 3 ingredients. They have avocado oil, potatoes, and salt. That is it. No seed oils, no, nothing to make the potatoes crispier, and nothing to, preservatives to make them last longer. Just 3 ingredients. So yes, you can even have snack food and junk food and still make better choices. I mean, is it the best thing to eat a whole bag of potato chips at one sitting? No, it's not. But we can make a better choice as to what we are eating. I mean, if we're having turkey clubs for dinner or something, I love me a side of potato chips. I do. I just make the better choice. And the Boulder Canyon are delicious, and it's just a better choice. Same thing with tortilla chips. Love me a tortilla chip and queso and nachos or whatever. You make the better choice. You look at the label and you find one that does not have dye in it. You find one that does not have added sugar in it. You find one that maybe... We don't buy everything organic, but certain things I do. Corn is one of the things that I do like to try to get organic, just because it's a highly sprayed crop and it is a GMO crop. So I do look for, if it's going to be some kind of corn chips, I do look for an organic alternative. It's not always easy to find. So we buy the Siete chips. They are made with cassava and avocado oil, and they are thin and crispy and delicious. Now, do they taste like Tostitos? No, they do not. But once again, our taste buds have changed, and now that is what we like. And it is amazing how much your taste buds will change, and change pretty quickly. And you're going to start not liking things that you used to like. And I'll try to remember to give you an example that just happened to me recently, a couple weeks ago. But so that they're another thing. Look for chips that are fried in avocado oil or tallow or even olive oil, and not the seed oils. Definitely, a better choice for us, in our opinion. The next thing is cream of whatever soup. Yeah, we all love that stuff. We do. It's a great base for a casserole, and it makes for quick, easy dinners. 100% it does. But it doesn't have the best ingredients. So what do? You have two choices, three choices. You use it and not care, and that's fine. If you're okay with it, we're okay with it. Number two, you make a from scratch mix, which you've seen me make before, you've seen me use before. Or number three, you find a nice convenient cream soup in a can that just has better ingredients. And luckily there is one. It's from Pacific Foods. It's amazing when you compare different brands of cream of whatever soups and the difference in ingredients. I'm going to try to throw two labels up here for a lot of things. I hope it's working out for me. I don't know if it is or not. If it's not, I'm sorry. If it is, woo me. My editing's getting a little better. But that's all you have to do is just try to make better choices. You do not have to be perfect. Just make the better choices. Another one is coffee. Now, I don't drink coffee, but my guys drink a lot of coffee. And Keurigs are popular, the little pods, very popular. But when you put it in and push it down, you're puncturing the foil on top, okay? So you're probably releasing some chemicals. And then you have this hot water going through this thin plastic cup, and pretty much every study will tell you not to heat plastic, not to heat it in the microwave, not to heat it, whatever, because it releases chemicals and microplastics, and a lot of those chemicals are forever chemicals. So you really, really want to be careful about that, about heating plastic and using plastic for that kind of stuff. And K-cups are, one of the big things. And not only that, but they're just horrible for the environment. I mean, they don't really break down. But don't get me wrong. I know people love their Keurigs. It's quick and it's easy in the morning. Not everybody has time to use it. We either do a French press or we do a old-fashioned Corningware percolator. That is generally what we do because I have 3 guys here that walk out with coffee in the morning, so we need a decent amount. But I know people love their Keurigs because they are definitely quick and easy and hands-off. And that's fine. Use it. Just make a better choice. Buy one of the reusable cups and fill it with your own coffee and use that. And you can set it all up the night before, fill up your little pod, put it in there, and then the next morning, do whatever it is you do. Hit the lever, push the button, and it's still quick and easy, but you're just making a better choice to not use the plastics. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Cool Whip because we all use it. We all use it. Well, we don't all use it, but a lot of people use it. But that's one of the things, like I said, one of my hardline no's is the hydrogenated oils. And that's basically all it is just hydrogenated oil. But there's an alternative. And well, there's 2 alternatives actually to Cool Whip. One of them is making your own whipped cream, which is super easy to do. You put heavy cream into a bowl, add a little bit of powdered sugar to it, and whip it with your electric mixer. A hand mixer, a stand mixer. Heck, if you want a good arm workout, use a whisk because it's possible. It's just not fun. But if you don't want to do that, that's okay too. I mean, I use homemade whipped cream for everything. I substitute it 1-for-1 in any recipe that calls for Cool Whip. But like I said, if you don't want to do that, there's an alternative. There's a product called True Whip, TRU Whip. It is just like Cool Whip with just better ingredients. It doesn't have all the hydrogenated oil in it. Is it perfect? Nope, but it's a whole lot better choice. And that's what this video is about. Not perfection, but just making better choices. We've got a lot of disease in this country. We have a lot of medications in this country. And sometimes we just have to look beyond all that and say, why? Why? What is causing it? And I believe a lot of it is our food. I truly, truly believe that. And if we can just make small changes and a little bit better choices, then maybe we can reverse what's coming up for the next generation. Maybe we can teach that generation, to not become addicted to sugar, to, you know, not have all the snack foods all the time, to not do all that. Maybe we can teach them, you know, by example, by just making better choices. Like I said, we're not perfect. I don't pretend to be perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. Look, I'm all about on Wednesday nights going over to the local pizzeria for $8 pies. Do we make our own pizza at home? We certainly do, and it is delicious. But you know what? Once in a while, you get a pizza. Once in a while, you get takeout. Not about perfection. It's just about making better choices. And that's what this video was about. Just a few little swaps to just try to make some better choices. And once you make these choices and you start incorporating them in, make a few more. You know, always look for the better alternative. And not only when it comes to food, but also when it comes to personal hygiene items. Your skin is your largest organ. And so many of our personal care items with all the fragrances and everything are endocrine disruptors. They're hormonal disruptors. They wreak havoc to our system. So, you know, that's something else that we could clean up and potentially feel better. Our cleaners, that's a huge one. I do make most of my cleaners, but certain things I do buy, I just make sure I am buying the best one that I possibly can. So there's a lot of things we can change. We don't have to do it all at once. We don't have to do it overnight. Small changes over time make a huge difference. Just remember that. And remember, progress, not perfection. So future Joni jumping in here. As I was editing this video, I realized I had said to you about taste changing. I said something about, you know, when you get used to eating something and then sometimes you don't like something like that. I forget my exact words. I said, I'll circle back to that. And I never did. What I was talking about was Oreo cookies. So Oreo cookies, I used to love Oreos. Like, they were my favorite prepackaged cookie. Love them. And stopped eating them for obvious reasons, because we're, you know, cleaning up our diets and all. Haven't had one in forever. And about a month or so ago, it was somewhere around the holidays, I was somewhere and they had Oreos. And I'm like, oh yeah, baby, 10%, I'm having an Oreo. Took one bite of it and threw it away. I hadn't had one in so long, and my taste buds had changed so much. It did not even taste good. It tasted very chemically. It tasted very oily, and just not good at all. Just not good at all. Did not like it. And when I tell you I loved Oreos, man, I loved Oreos. So your taste will change by changing your diet. They will definitely change. But anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. I'll try to remember to put it on the screen. If not, I'll write it in the description box below. There's a couple apps that definitely help you making better choices. One of them is called Bobby Approved. It has a little scanner. You can scan your food and it highlights what's not good in a product and things like that. And it a lot of times will give you an alternative product to use. There's another app called the Yuka app, Y-U-K-A. I'm not a huge fan of that one because I disagree with a lot of their good things. Like, they say grass-fed butter is horrible. They give it, you know, a red mark because there's a lot of fat in it. You know, they say Lara bars are horrible because they're higher in calorie, but they'll give a good mark to something like a Quaker granola bar that has artificial everything in it. But because it's low calorie, they give it a high rating. So that one I kind of take with a grain of salt. I know a lot of people love it. It just doesn't really work with our lifestyle. There's also one called EWG, I believe, Environmental Watch Group, is really good for your cleaners and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of, and there's also one called Think Dirty. So I'll write those all in the description box, and you can just look on your app store or your Google Play. Is that what it's called for an Android? Google Store, Google Play, whatever the Android store is. you know, you can definitely look there and check out those apps. They're all free. I'm sure they have paid versions of them, but I just use all the free ones. And, you know, just curious. Start scanning your food and see what they have to say about it. But that is it. That is all I have for you. This got a lot longer than I wanted it to. But like I said, start small, small steps, progress, not perfection. And let me tell you, you'll be surprised when you start cutting out things, how much better you feel, and it's a step in the right direction. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video.